Good afternoon. My name is Randall Gauze, and I am the managing attorney at Burnham Injury Law. Our firm represents people that have been injured in almost any kind of accident that you can imagine. Car accidents, trucking accidents, motorcycle accidents, dog bites, snowmobile accidents, dangerous products, anything that you can imagine. We represent people that have been injured by those in those situations. There's a lot of different topics that I could talk to you about today regarding personal injury, but we've got a limited amount of time, so I'm going to try to keep it to a very narrow concept and a few particular questions that I often hear from people when I first meet with them.
大家好，我帮他翻译。他说，下午好，我的名字是 Randall， 我很荣幸能今天来跟大家见面。我是博汉律师事务所的partner 之一，就是合伙人之一。我们的律师事务所呢是专业做各种个人人身伤害的案件，包括汽车就是车祸，然后有大货车的相撞，然后摩托车、自行车，包括行人行走时，比如说摔倒受伤，还有那个狗有，比如说宠物狗咬之类的，就是各类人身伤害之类的案子。他今天本来想讲更详细一点，但知道时间特别紧，所以就先就比较大家常关心的一些常问问题，给大家做一些解答。
In personal injury law, we start with the concept that one of the most important things that all of us have in life is our health, our good health. And this includes our physical health, our mental health, and our emotional health.
人身伤害的案件呢，一般最主要的，我们首先关注的是我们的健康，就是除了赔偿之外，有我们的就是身体健康、精神健康，还有就是心理情绪的健康。
If someone's wrongful conduct causes us to be injured, then they have taken something away from us. They have taken away our good health. They have affected our ability to enjoy our life.
所以，当由于别人的过错引起我们的个人伤害，他们实际上是夺走了我们的一些权利，我们的身体健康，还有我们对生活享受的能力，就是 enjoyable.
Personal injury law says that we may be compensated for these losses. And the amount of compensation that we can recover is usually in direct proportion to the types of injuries that we sustain in the accident, how long we have to receive medical treatment for these injuries, and whether these injuries are going to be temporary or more permanent.
人身伤害的法律是说，我们有权利从我们受到的伤害中得到一些赔偿。这些赔偿如何来定义它？一个是根据我们受的伤有多重，然后对我们的身体造成的永久性伤害有多大，然后还有比如说我们需要有多长时间的治疗，或者说将来有多长时间的生活会受到这些伤害的影响。
Sometimes the injuries.
Can you speak up?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sometimes the injuries that people receive in accidents are not very serious, and they don't require a lot of medical attention, and it doesn't really affect their lives for very long, and so those cases are not going to have a lot of settlement value.
有些，比如说车祸或者人身伤害，并没有特别大的伤，或者并不需要特别多的治疗。这些呢，将来如果是案子的赔偿上，可能不会有太多的，就是从钱的方面上不会有太多的那个结案的费用。
But sometimes the injuries are much more serious, and they last a lot longer, and the impact on people's lives are much more serious. It affects their relationships with their spouses, their ability to work, and after a while they may become depressed and feel like they're not going to be able to overcome these injuries.
有些伤害呢会对我们的影响非常大，比如说你可能再也不能回到原来的工作状态， 或者会影响您的人际关系，比如说跟家人、跟您的配偶之间的关系。就是有些会造成永久性伤害，你的身体就再也恢复不到那个车祸或者说伤害之前的样子。
In these cases, there is much more significant loss of our good health and our enjoyment of life. And the compensation for these cases should be much greater.
所以像这样的比较严重的案子，对于结案来说，这种就是说案子的价值会比较大，因为对您造成的身体和对于生活的影响比较大。
There are two main questions that people usually ask me as a personal injury attorney. The first is, what exactly do you do that adds value to the case? And the second question is, how long is this going to take? And because I think a lot of people get frustrated at how long the process can take. And I'll go through that here in just a minute.
所以作为律师，我最经常被问到的两个问题，第一个是，如果我们聘请了律师，你们能为我的案子做什么，或者多做什么？第二个就是这个案子要多久，多长时间？
As far as what the attorney does, there's some very simple tasks like just obtaining an accident report, getting witness statements from those who observed the accident. We order all of the medical bills and records and start putting together the case, documenting it. If our clients don't have the ability to get medical treatment, we have companies that will help them fund that medical treatment. If they don't have health insurance or they don't have Medicare, we have a network of medical providers that are very good that can assist our clients in getting proper medical care.
所以最基本的，一般我们律师会首先去拿到警察报告，因为警察报告是最重要的。再一个呢，我们会去做一些调查，找到证人或者各种证据。第三个是我们会去收集您的医疗账单，还有医生报告。第四个呢，就是我们一般不懂得就是哪个医生会特别适合我的伤，就去找到正确的医生去治我的伤。我们跟科州的大多数的就跟车祸伤有关的医生都合作了很多年，所以我们会安排您去看正确的医生。
The other tasks that the personal injury attorney performs are of a little more complex nature. We work with a lot of specialized medical experts so that we can understand completely the nature and extent of our clients' injuries. We also have the ability to use our particular knowledge and experience to put a value on these claims for our clients. That's just something that you kind of learn in doing these cases for many, many years. We negotiate with health insurance companies. A lot of times our clients may use their health insurance because the at-fault party's insurance carrier isn't going to pay your bills as you're going along and getting treatment. So you've got to find a way to pay for those bills until the case can be resolved, and then you get reimbursed by the insurance company. So oftentimes we negotiate with the health insurance companies as well.
除了跟我们刚刚讲的，我们会用我们的专业知识去给您安排合适的医生，包括一些比如说 X 光或者核磁共振或者 CT。还有一个很主要的工作就是我们会帮您去跟您的健康保险去谈判，比如说一些折扣。因为根据法律的规定，您车祸或者是人身伤害受的伤，健康保险是不包的，他们只是暂时帮您付。然后等您结案之后，您是要还这些钱的，所以我们会跟您的健康保险公司去谈判，比如说给一些折扣或者少还掉一部分，不需要还掉他的全款。还有一个就是跟对方的保险公司或者您自己的保险公司谈判，就是理赔方面的价格。
The most important thing, though, that we do is we negotiate with the insurance company to try to obtain the best possible recovery for our clients based on the medical evidence that we have to present to them. And then if we can't reach a fair and reasonable settlement with the insurance company, then we're going to talk to our clients about the next stage in the process, which is filing a lawsuit and going through the litigation process.
所以最重要的一步就是我们跟对方的保险公司或者您自己保险公司去谈判您的伤，就是不能说价值的，就是应该理赔的一个金额，根据您的医学报告，根据您的医疗账单，然后如果最后达不成我们满意的协议，我们会到就是法庭诉讼这一步。
So overall, the most significant thing that the attorney can do for you is to help you understand the process, understand how a case is valued, so that you can see the end of the case and understand what the likely outcome is going to be. And then we use our knowledge and experience as leverage to force the insurance company to offer a fair and reasonable amount for the settlement.
所以我们的律师会用他的专业知识跟经验跟您解释，或者让您明白，您的伤或者您的案件它的法定价值或者医疗价值，然后去跟保险公司去理赔一个有可能达到的最高赔额。
So, probably the best thing that we can do for our client is provide leverage that they wouldn't otherwise have. And the leverage that the attorney has is to file suit. The insurance company does not respect an individual, for the most part, that's not represented by counsel because they know they don't have the ability to file a lawsuit. That's what gives us our leverage.
没事。
You can go ahead and translate first.
OK， 就有些时候保险公司它并不会很顺利的赔偿我们应得的那个金额，因为但他们知道，如果你有律师在代理的话，没有人希望会到法庭这一步。如果到了法庭这一步，他可能就是会更复杂，或者他在赔偿上可能更处于劣势。
So when the lawyer file a lawsuit, is it going to be against the insurance or the driver?
Very good question. The lawsuit is actually filed against the at-fault party, the person that caused the accident. But the insurance company must indemnify or pay for any judgment that's brought against the at-fault party at trial.
So it's not filing a lawsuit against personally toward the driver, right? The at-fault driver.
Yes, you actually do file the lawsuit against the driver, the other driver.
But what if the insurance doesn't cover the amounts that the driver is liable to?
Go ahead, Chris, you want to answer?
I was going to say, that's a good point. I'm going to speak to that in a minute. What happens when the person that hurt you doesn't have enough insurance? I'm going to cover that with you in a moment.
So, in smaller cases where the injuries aren't all that serious, there's really, honestly, not a lot the attorney can add as far as value to that case. But a lot of people still like to be represented because they don't want to have to deal with the insurance adjuster. Insurance adjusters usually they don't treat people very respectfully. They just try to bully them into settling for less than the value of the case should really be. And so some people just hire us to help them get through the process. Of course, other people that have more serious injuries, that's a case that we can add a lot of value to because we can pull out a lot of different things from the medical records. We can get experts to help us identify these specific injuries. We can talk about how those injuries have really affected the daily activities of our clients and decreased their normal enjoyment of their life.
当然，一些很小的案子或者很小的伤，即便有律师，我们也可能没办法帮你拿到特别多的赔偿。但是大多数人还是愿意找一个律师，因为跟保险公司deal这些事情， 特别麻烦，然后保险公司态度也特别不好，就是不是所有保险公司，有些保险公司的就是 adjuster 态度也不是特别好，然后他们就是想尽量的、尽快的以最低的价格给你塞到了就好了。所以有一个律师呢，一个是减少麻烦，再一个还是尽量的可以保障我们就是最大的利益。当然，如果是比较大的案子或者比较重的伤，那一定是要有律师在，因为我们会根据您的医学报告或者您的医疗账单，会给出比较专业的鉴定，当然对案子的价值或者赔偿会有非常非常大的帮助，会有很大的不一样。
The second question that most people ask is, how long is this process going to take? And I think a lot of people get a little frustrated with how long it can take to get through the process.
第二个最经常被问的问题就是一个案子要多久？这个就是基本上每个客户都会一直问，还要多久啊？还没结束啊？这是最经常被问的问题。
Some of these things the attorney can control, and some of these things the attorney cannot control.
有些程序是我们可以控制，有些我们也没有办法控制它的速度。
To begin with, we can't really start trying to negotiate a settlement of the case until our client's been completely released from medical treatment, because it's only at that point that we can really understand the nature and extent of our client's injuries and determine what the value of the damages are going to be for that client.
就在您结束所有的治疗，就是您的伤完全恢复之前，律师也不能做任何事情，因为我们要等到看到您完全就一个完整的报告，然后才能评估您的就是伤势或者这个案子的价值。
So once the client has been released from all of their medical treatment, they usually call us and they say, you know, my doctor has released me, and so that tells us it's time for us to really get started trying to get the case resolved. So then we'll order all of the final medical bills and records and start reviewing all of those and putting together the damages for the client.
So 只有当您结束了所有的治疗，然后您的医生说您现在已经就是可以停止治疗，那个时候我们才开始去就是收集您所有的医疗报告和账单，然后来评估您的就是案件的价值。
And this can actually be one of the most frustrating parts of the entire process, because some medical providers are very slow to get the medical bills and records to us. Sometimes we may have to request those documents multiple times, and sometimes it can take, you know, a month, maybe 2 months, especially when it involves a hospital. Hospitals are really slow to get medical bills and records to us, and that slows the whole process down.
就是到了那个收集医疗报告跟账单的过程，也是我们律师最头疼的一步。就是大多数的很多医生或者医疗机构，他们非常慢。我们有时候要 request 好多次，然后他说1-2个月，其实有的3-4个月都不给寄来，我们要一次一次催，就非常困难的一步。
So what happens if the person's injury is going to be far beyond the time that is allowed for the case to whatever that is? How can I answer?
It's going to last longer than the litigation. It's a permanent injury or a long-term injury that would continue to exist after the case would be resolved. Is that what you're?
Yeah. Would that be possible? I mean, normally they would say they would give you 3 years to get the treatment. What happens if the treatment needs more than 3 years?
We think about that. We know that from working with our doctors and the medical records as we proceed through the case. So we are able to seek what's called future damages. We are able to get medical professionals to estimate the amount of time and the amount of money that the continuing treatment will cost beyond the end of the lawsuit, and include it real time in the lawsuit itself. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Randall, did the law change in 2003 in the state of Colorado? There's no fault.
Yes.
Correct?
Right. Okay. Just
Oh,
wanted
okay.
to bring it up.
Okay, good point. So once the client has been released from care, we have all the medical bills and records in, and we have all of our evidence gathered up, we're going to sit down and we're going to write a demand. And a demand is nothing more than maybe 2 or 3 pages summarizing all of the injuries, how they've affected each part of our client's life. And we try to be as detailed as possible. But what it really is it's a starting point for us to start negotiating with the insurance company.
所以当我们收集到所有的账单跟报告之后呢，我们会有一个就是索赔的一个提案出来，然后会详细的讲您的伤对您生活的影响，然后我们会有一个索赔的金额就是第一次的一个理赔金额。
And it's in that process of putting the demand together that I start getting a sense of what the target value for settling this case should be. And then usually what we do is we talk to the client about what we think the value of this case should be. What's the fair and reasonable value? What would a reasonable jury do with this case? That's our target value.
所以那个时候我们会跟客户就是有一个沟通，跟您商量，就是我们认为这个案子比较合理的一个赔偿的范围是多少。
So then once we've sent that demand out to the insurance adjuster, usually we're going to receive an initial offer within about 30 days from the time that demand is sent out.
一般我们的理赔提案出来之后，30天左右，就是对方的保险公司会给我们一个就是他们认为的赔偿金。
And then almost every time we get that initial offer from the insurance company, it usually starts very low. And maybe that's because, we always, when we send our demand out, our demand is usually pretty high because we know they're going to start low and we've got to get somewhere in the middle to get the case resolved.
所以一般我们在理赔的时候，我们提出的理赔金额一般会非常高，然后也同样的，对方第一次给的赔偿反而会非常低。也许大家都知道，就是我们会有一个谈判，就像讨价还价的过程。
So I always tell my clients, don't get too upset about that first offer. That's not something where you need to focus. We need to focus on what our target value is and trying to get that insurance adjuster to get there.
所以当第一次拿到理赔金额的时候，先不要急或者不要失望，这只是一个正常的程序。我们知道我们要结案的金额就是合理金额在哪。
Usually within about 60 days from the time we sent the demand out, we're going to receive what's called a final offer from the insurance company. That's the amount that they just don't feel like they're going to go up above that offer. That's it, final offer.
所以一般在60天左右，我们会收到保险公司的最终赔偿金额。就那个时候，我们会跟你通知，那个最后的赔偿不会有太大的差别。
So then we need to have a discussion with our client, and we need to let them know that this is the final offer. We've got some medical bills to pay back. Got the attorney fee. Usually the costs aren't very much in a usual auto case unless we have to file a lawsuit. And then we tell our client what the net amount that they would receive from that final settlement offer. And then the client has to decide whether that's an acceptable amount or not.
所以当我们收到他的最终 offer 之后，我们会跟您有一个沟通，就问您就是这些钱除掉我们还医生的账单，然后扣掉律师费和中间一些比较小的，比如说文本费用，然后最后您拿回家的就是您手上的钱有多少。然后如果您满意，就我们来接受这个 offer； 如果您不满意，我们再往下一步。
If the final amount that we receive from the insurance company is not close to what we've put on the case as a target value, I'm going to recommend to my client that they allow us to file the lawsuit.
就如果最终他的理赔金就是给的理赔金额跟我们预期的相差非常多的话，律师会建议我们要去法庭去做一个诉讼，不建议您接受特别低的赔偿。
But it's always the client's decision. It's not my decision as the attorney as to whether they accept that offer or not. That's their decision to make. My job is to give them all of the information necessary for them to make an informed decision about whether they want to accept that settlement value.
但最终是你有权决定是接受还是就是继续去走到诉讼这一步。律师只是给您他的建议和给你分析各种利弊，然后您自己做决定。
I can tell you that one of the biggest concerns that I have as a personal injury attorney is when a client tells me that they're still having symptoms, their injuries are still present, they're still having problems, and then they tell me they want to settle their case anyways. I have a really difficult time with that because I don't think that's in their best interest to do that. And they're not going to get a fair value for what their injuries are if they try to rush the case and settle too quick. The insurance company's counting on that.
就我们最不希望看到一种情况就是，客户就说，其实我的伤还没完全好，我哪里还疼，但是我就想快点结案，快点拿到钱，就这种状况是我们最不希望看到的，因为保险公司他们也有足够的经验，当他知道你要急着结案的时候，一般都不会拿到好的赔偿，所以我们就是我们希望的是拿到好的赔偿，而不是快一点结案。
If you are injured in, let's say, an automobile accident, if you have any injuries at all, you need to go talk to a personal injury attorney. Even if you have no intent on hiring them, get the information, sit down with them, understand what the issues are, understand what the process is. It will help you considerably.
所以当你有受到人身伤害或者车祸之类的，建议您先跟律师联络。就是即便您没有决定要聘请律师，然后先跟律师联络，因为我们都是就是免费咨询的，先跟律师聊一聊，看就是有没有必要或者怎么样进行下一步最好。
If you are considering hiring a personal injury attorney for an auto accident, let's say, you should hire them earlier rather than later because you're going to pay the same fee. It's a contingency fee. Why not get the use and the value of their knowledge and experience from the very beginning? What I see happening a lot is people will wait and wait and try to deal with the adjuster. Then they get frustrated, then they call us up, and they've already made a few mistakes before we get into the case. And so I just would say, if you think you want an attorney, get one early. Take advantage of that advice early on.
所以如果您觉得您有可能需要律师的话，早比晚好，因为律师费最终是一样的，律师费是按索赔的比例来付律师费的。但是您如果晚的话，你中间跟保险公司或者是就是治疗过程中，由于您缺少一些专业知识，总会有一些失误或者有一些过错，那个时候我们来再挽救，就不如早一点先让律师介入比较好。
If you do hire an attorney, please listen to their advice. Follow the recommendations of your medical providers. And try to be patient in the process. And I promise you, you will have a much better recovery.
如果您决定聘请律师，那请就是听从律师的建议，听从他们专业的建议。我们保证您最终得到的那个理赔会非常满意。
I'm going to let Chris Gilbert, he's a really fantastic trial attorney that's joined our firm, and he's going to discuss a little bit about insurance coverage and how that plays a role in these cases. So I do thank you for your time, but we'll also answer questions after Chris provides you with that information.
现在 Chris 来帮我们讲，他的专业是到法庭诉讼，就有些比较困难的案子，法庭诉讼他是专家。
你好。My name is Chris Gilbert. I'm a lawyer with Randall and Windsey. I want to talk to you today about some types of insurance that protects you when you get hurt.
他可以跟大家讲一下，就是跟保险有关的一些知识，就是怎么样保障你的权利。
The first thing, I want to back up on something Randall said. The first step when you've been injured by somebody else, get medical treatment, go to your doctor, go sooner rather than later. I don't know what it is, particularly with Asian men, but people don't go to the doctor when they've been hurt. It's important to acknowledge that you don't feel well and to go to the doctor when you've been injured by somebody else. That's the very first step and very important.
是当您受到伤害，或者说比如说被别人的车撞了，最重要的一件事就是早一点去看医生。就是您如果感觉有一点点不舒服，或者您担心有不舒服，早一点看医生，总比就是拖的时间越久越不好。
When you don't go to the doctor, the insurance company for the person that hurt you, the insurance company will from the very start say, your client must not have been hurt because they didn't go to the doctor. They waited 2 weeks, or they waited a month or 2 months to go to the doctor, and they'll use that time period where you didn't get treatment to say, our client didn't hurt your client.
所以当这个事情变成一个案子之后，对方的保险公司会利用你没有及时看医生这个时间差，来就是会削减案子的价值。他会说，您2个礼拜或者1个月都没有看医生，就是会有不承认这个案子的价值，或者跟车祸有关。
Randall talked about different ways our clients can get medical treatment paid for. There's one way that everyone in here can ensure they have some money for medical treatment through their automobile insurance policy, and that's what's called medical payments coverage or MedPay.
Randall 刚刚讲过了，我们有不同的方法来付我们的账单，其中有一个就是我们自己的就是汽车的保险，然后您的汽车保险里其中有一条叫 MedPay， 就是有一个付医疗账单的钱。
MedPay coverage with your automobile insurance is very inexpensive. It typically provides coverage in the amounts of either $5,000 or $25,000 that goes strictly toward your medical bills, regardless of who's at fault.
就您可以回去关注一下您自己的汽车保险，您如果有这个 MediPay 这一项，建议有，就是有一些就有5000的、1万的，还有25000的，就是这个钱当发生车祸的时候，不管是谁的错。就是对方撞您或者您自己的错，这个 MediPay 这些钱是您合法应该拿到的，就是他要付您的医疗账单。
From a quick show of hands for people in this room, who seeks traditional Chinese medicine for their medical treatment still? Are there folks in here that's their modality of medical treatment, or does everybody go to kind of Western doctors?
I am Chinese medicine doctor. I receive a lot of accident, acupuncture.
Perfect.
Yeah, but some is a lawyer, some just insurance recommended to us.
So that's one of the things I wanted to mention. When you buy medical payments coverage, it's important to look at the policy language, because some automobile insurance coverages, the MedPay coverage, will not reimburse you, will not cover things other than Western medicine. They'll deny coverage for traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, sometimes even chiropractic. So when you purchase the policy, it's important to look at the policy language and make sure that the coverage you're paying for will actually cover you for the type of treatment you choose.
所以建议您回去，比如说跟您的保险经纪沟通一下，或者看一下您的保险条文细节里有一些，比如说您即使买了 MedPay， 有的里面它会写明不包任何，比如说中医或者针灸推拿，有些是有条文里有写不包的。
Yeah, but
Yes.
how many people in this room, when they get a car insurance, will look at the terms and the coverage of the insurance policy. I don't even look at it myself.
You're right.
I'll say
And
zero.
yeah, I agree. Very small percentage of people will read the policy. What happens, unfortunately, is that we'll have an Asian client who, it's not until we get the insurance policy in the litigation process that we read the policy language and find out that their treatment wasn't covered, because they never knew that. It is a question you can and should ask your agent, because you should be able to get what you pay for and what you expect.
You should, but it
Should.
doesn't work out that way.
You're right. It doesn't always work out, but the one way to know is ask your insurance agent up front. The insurance agent will have exemplar copies of the policy language that you can review and should review to make sure that you're covered in that arena.
And I bet you, those representatives, when they sell you the insurance, they will not even tell you that this is covered.
Correct.
So it's not written in the policy, but they may say something, but that may not be the case.
Very good point. Just like anything in life,
That's right.
with a contract, people can tell you whatever they want to tell you. If it's not in the four corners of the insurance policy, it doesn't matter. Yet the gentleman behind you had a question a moment ago?
That's right. So does using the med pay will increase the premium next year or not?
No.
I'm not the party as involved.
No.
Okay.
No. Your premiums will increase when you've been rated higher because you've made a claim or you've somehow cost the insurance company money outside of the medical payments coverage.
And
So
also
property
based on
damage.
the zip code of your area, the insurance premium go up.
Yep.
Because of, they say, well, during this year, we have to pay out a lot of money. So based on your zip code, we have so many claims.
That's true.
And that's why your insurance go up.
That's very true with homeowners claims. So any other questions on MedPay before I move on? Okay, I want to be very quick because of the time. The next types of coverage that are really, really important, what's called UM or UIM coverage. UM, uninsured motorist, UIM, underinsured motorist. This coverage is a coverage that you carry on your policy in the event that the person that hits you does not have enough insurance.
然后还有一个保险条例，您最好也了解一下，就是您的车保险有一个叫 UM 和 URM 的，这个就是说，当别人撞了你，然后对方赔偿你，但他的保险不够的话，就他的最高保额还不够的话，您的这个 UM、URM 也是有，就是也可以赔偿你。
UIM coverage is very important, especially in states like Colorado, where the state minimum required insurance is so low. In Colorado, the only thing the law requires a person to carry is what's called 2550, $25,000 per person, up to $50,000 per incident. So it's not a lot of coverage. It can be that the other person doesn't have a lot of coverage when they hit you. The UIM gives you extra coverage to protect you above what they have.
所以要买您的 UM、URM 的 coverage 很重要，就是我们科州的那个最低保额特别小，就是只有2万5，就是个人单人2万5，然后就是整车的话是5万，所以很多情况下有些人只买这个最低保额的话，它是不够的，还有些人根本没有保险，就如果说别人撞了您，然后他也没保险。如果您自己没有 UIM， 那就完全没有钱可以拿。
I'll give you an example of how UIM works. Underinsured motorists. If you are in a crash with someone that only has a $25,000 liability policy, but your medical bills are $100,000. Your UIM coverage will cover the extra amount above the $25,000 coverage that the at-fault person has.
所以他就举了一个例子，说如果比如说撞您的那个人，他就只有2.5万，然后您的医疗账单有10万，那剩下的7.5万，如果您有 UIM 的话，您自己的保险公司会完全付掉。
Without the UIM coverage, the $25,000 that the at-fault driver has is all the insurance money there is. That likely doesn't go to you. It's going to go toward the $75,000 in hospital bills that you have. So not only are you hurt, you don't have any money to compensate you for your injuries, and you're in debt for medical bills, all because the person that hit you didn't have enough insurance.
就如果说您自己没有 UIM， 假如说对方只有2.5万，然后您在急诊室的账单有10万，那剩下的7.5万是您个人欠的，所以是您个人是有义务要还医院的。
Yes, sir.
If the guy have a house, gonna take his house.
You mean if the person who hit him, he has his own property, can he take his house to pay them?
In theory, yes. Practically, it's very difficult.
One more thing I want
Yes.
to point out, that underinsured motor vehicle is not expensive.
It's not.
It's very cheap. And if you have multi-car in the family, all you need is only one policy cover all the cars.
Correct. In Colorado, the way that it works, if you have it on one policy for one vehicle and it adds up on top, it covers all of your vehicles. It's time for me to go. I do want to say this. The one last coverage that is in a different vein that would protect you all and is very cheap, it's called umbrella coverage. You can buy a $1 million umbrella liability policy for about, on the high end, $300 a year. It protects you in case someone is hurt on your property, in case you crash into somebody and you don't have enough insurance to cover their injuries. This very cheap policy gives you an additional layer of $1 million coverage that protects someone from coming after your house or taking your other assets.
我们听众里有专家刚给我们提示了一点很好，谢谢您这位先生。就是说这个 UIM， 您的整个家庭中，比如说您有很多辆车，很多个人，只要有一辆车买了这个 UIM 是 cover 所有的，并不是说你每一辆车都要买一份，就一份可以就包你整个家庭，就是这个 house 住的所有的人，所有的车。然后他也有提到那个，还有一个比较好的就是买一个那个 umbrella 的那个保险，可以包所有的，基本上包括你房屋的、你的车的。但是那个，因为我们真时间不够了，就先不详细讲，你可以跟你的经纪人聊一下。然后
And we'll be here after to talk to you more if you have more questions.
I have another question. That means if the guy get an accident, his responsibility, but if you have not a law of contact, you only buy $25,000 like a minimum, because it's very difficult to take his job. He has salary, he has work, he has house, so he no risk. So he need to buy high limit the insurance.
Yes, you need to have enough insurance coverage to protect you personally.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's to protect myself, not to protect the guy be hurt.
Correct.
Because even I have accident by law, because the pay is low, then they cannot, because it's only $25,000. Over $25,000, the guy can ask to pay. It's not a good law.
No, it's not a good rule at all. It's very low. Our state legislator needs to raise the amounts, definitely.
So is the umbrella insurance will cover that part though? I'm just trying to understand what the umbrella insurance is about. Is it to cover you at fault or is it cover other people at fault as well?
So your liability insurance that you're required to have by state law covers you if you hurt someone else.
Okay.
The MedPay covers you if you are hurt by someone else or if you're the at-fault driver. MedPay on your automobile insurance policy covers you regardless of who is at fault. UIM coverage will cover you in the event you are hurt by someone who does not have insurance or doesn't have enough insurance.
But umbrella insurance per se, it's not covering you when other people don't have any insurance coverage.
That's what UM covers. Umbrella coverage does not cover you when there's not enough
That's what I want
insurance.
to